I've been married to my husband, Mike, for 20 years now. We're not wealthy, but we own our home and have built a simple yet happy life together. We've been blessed with two wonderful children. Our eldest son, Joshua, is attending a local university. Though we told him not to worry about tuition, he insisted on securing a scholarship to cover the costs himself. Our daughter, April, is in her freshman year of high school and often helps out with chores, especially when I come home late from work. She has been such a big help, always stepping in without complaint. Our life wasn't extravagant, but it was comfortable, filled with love and mutual respect. Or so I thought. One day, Mike came home with exciting news. He had been promoted to manager. He had been working hard as a subsection chief, and now, with a department transfer, he was finally moving up. Wow, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you, I exclaimed, genuinely thrilled by his accomplishment. Of course, a small part of me hoped that this promotion would mean a pay raise as well, making our lives a little easier. To celebrate his achievement, the kids and I decided to plan a small but heartfelt celebration for him. The next day, April and I cooked up some of Mike's favorite dishes, while Joshua, using money from his part-time job, surprised us with a beautiful cake. We were all excited to honor Mike's success, unaware that this night would change everything. As we all sat down to enjoy our celebratory dinner and cake, Mike suddenly cleared his throat. His expression was unreadable, but there was a strange tension in the air. Then, without any warning, he dropped a bombshell. "I've been seeing someone at work," he said. I blinked, thinking I had misheard him. "Excuse me?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Ignoring my confusion and the shocked expressions of our children, he continued, his voice eerily calm. "She's pregnant." The room fell into stunned silence. My breath caught in my throat as my heart pounded wildly. Then, as if his confession wasn't already devastating enough, he delivered the final blow. "This is my house, so I'd like you all to leave." My head started spinning. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Was this really happening? I stared at Mike, my heart pounding in my chest, but he wasn't finished. He smirked slightly and shrugged. "She's 10 years younger than you," he said, his voice filled with amusement. "And adorable. I'm just not interested in an old lady like you anymore." My hands clenched into fists under the table. The words stung like a slap across the face. Was this really the man I had spent the last 20 years with? The father of my children? Joshua and April, who had been frozen in shock, glared at their father with pure disgust. But Mike, unfazed by their anger, simply scoffed. "You guys are grown up. You can fend for yourselves, right?" That was the final straw for Joshua. "You've got to be kidding me," he snapped, his voice shaking with fury. "I may be an adult, but April's still in high school. And you're just throwing us away like we mean nothing?" Mike rolled his eyes. "Looks like it's about to hit you any moment." Then, with a cruel chuckle, he added, "Who needs an education when you're a woman? You could just sell your body if you want to work." Time seemed to stop. A cold chill ran down my spine, and a deep, boiling rage erupted inside me. I had tolerated his betrayal. I had endured his cruelty. But this was beyond unforgivable. "Excuse me?" My voice was low, shaking with barely contained fury. "That is your own daughter you're talking about. How could you say something so vile?" April gasped, covering her mouth with her hands. Her body trembled as tears welled up in her eyes. Without another word, she turned and ran to her room, sobbing. Joshua shot one last glare at his father. "You're no father to me anymore," he said through gritted teeth. "I'll leave like you want, but I will never forgive you for hurting Mom and April." And with that, he stormed out after his sister, slamming the door behind him. Now it was just the two of us. A heavy silence filled the room. Mike sighed dramatically, as if he were the victim here. "See? This is why I'm giving you a week. Be out by then." I swallowed hard, trying to suppress the burning anger threatening to spill over. "Fine," I said, my voice steady. "I'll take custody of the kids." Mike scoffed, waving his hand dismissively. "Don't need it. I'll have new kids. He didn't even look at me as he said it, his focus entirely on his own selfish plans. Don't be foolish, he continued. I've been promoted to manager. I'm going to have a prosperous life from now on. I'll marry a young, cute girl and build a happy family. A happy family, like the one he had just destroyed. What was supposed to be a day of celebration had turned into the day my entire world crumbled. The next day, I called a close friend who had gone through a divorce. Through her, I was introduced to a well-known lawyer. You need to protect yourself, she advised. And so, following her guidance, I did exactly that. The first thing I did was hire a credit agency to investigate Mike. I needed to know where his finances stood before he could try anything shady. Then I started digging into his mistress. Her name was Emily, a temp at Mike's office. Here, I can expand further on her discoveries, her legal strategy, and how she fights back. Let me know if you want more details on the divorce battle, financial revenge, or a satisfying karma moment for Mike. Emily was cute, but manipulative. It seemed men like Mike always fell for women like her. As I sat in my rented condominium, listening to the credit agency's final report, I couldn't help but shake my head. The investigation had uncovered everything: Emily's past, her financial struggles, and her questionable relationships. At least April and Joshua were adjusting well. I was financially stable, thanks to my full-time job and savings, and with Mike out of the picture, April was slowly regaining her composure. Though the betrayal had left its scars, we were managing. Finally, with enough evidence in hand, I consulted my lawyer and arranged a meeting with Mike to finalize our divorce. I chose our former home as the venue for this confrontation. I wanted to face him on the battlefield he had so arrogantly claimed as his own. The moment Mike saw my lawyer beside me, he snickered. Who needs a lawyer, huh? You've always been such a drama queen. I kept my composure, but inside, I was boiling. I wanted to flip the table over and smash a chair across his smug face. As I looked around, I noticed that even the furniture had changed. The curtains, once neutral and elegant, were now pink and floral. Clearly, Emily had already made herself at home. Just the thought of her choosing those curtains made me nauseous. Emily, who was also in the room, crossed her arms and huffed. This has nothing to do with me, she muttered. In my head, I was fuming. Nothing to do with you? Are you serious? I should whack you with a chair. 2. My lawyer remained calm. Both Mike and Emily are liable for damages, he stated firmly. Emily's face twisted in outrage. Why should I pay for anything? Aren't women exempt from this kind of stuff? I was stunned. Seriously? You think you're the victim here? My lawyer didn't even flinch. No, you must pay adultery damages. You are the direct reason this marriage is ending. Emily's face darkened. It's because this old hag is unattractive, she spat. Thank God for my lawyer. Otherwise, I would have lunged at her right then and there. But before I could even process her audacity, Emily suddenly grabbed a teacup filled with hot tea and hurled it at me. I barely managed to dodge as it shattered against the floor. Hey, do something about this, she whined, turning to Mike and pressing herself against him. I'm carrying your child, you know. I clenched my fists. Can I hit her now? I thought my patience at its limit. But my lawyer, as composed as ever, simply handed me a handkerchief. Still have to endure, huh? I muttered under my breath. Mike, grinning like a fool, wrapped his arm around Emily as if this were some kind of twisted romantic drama. I had enough. Without another word, I placed the divorce papers on the table. Sign them, I said coldly. Mike scowled but snatched up the pen and violently scribbled his name across the documents. We're strangers now, he said. I'll pay the damages, but don't come near us again. I signed my name as well and handed the papers to my lawyer. File them in court, I instructed. As my lawyer gathered his things, Mike leaned back with a smug expression. Now you leave, too. I looked at him, my lips curling into a knowing smirk. Before I go, I have one simple question. Mike rolled his eyes. What? I tilted my head. Is that baby really yours? The room fell silent. Emily's expression didn't change, except for a slight twitch of her eyebrow. But I knew. I had hit a nerve. What are you saying? Mike scoffed, though there was uncertainty in his voice. Of course it's mine. Are you crazy? I calmly placed a stack of documents on the table. You're not just seeing Mike, I said smoothly. You're also financially supporting a struggling artist, aren't you? Emily's face turned pale. What nonsense are you spewing, you old hag? You're out of your mind. Mike, however, wasn't so quick to dismiss it. He grabbed the papers and flipped through them. His face darkened as he took in the damning evidence. Pictures of Emily cozying up to another man, entering a hotel with him, sharing intimate moments in a car. What the hell is this? Mike's voice trembled with anger. What's the meaning of this, Emily? Emily stammered, her confidence wavering. That's not what it looks like. He's just a friend. You were planning to scam me, weren't you? Mike bellowed, slamming the papers onto the table. Emily pouted. Oh, come on. You should be happy to be with someone as cute as me. And besides, the baby is yours. You promised to take responsibility. Mike's face twisted in rage. Are you kidding me? I sat back and watched as their relationship unraveled before my eyes. Karma is sweet, I thought. I had wasted my love, my trust, and my years on a man like Mike. But now, watching him get a taste of his own medicine, I felt a strange sense of relief. Who cared whose kid it was? I was free. And that was all that mattered. Mike's face turned pale. His mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. Wait, he stammered. That wasn't my intention. I let out a dry laugh. Oh. Then what exactly was your intention, Mike? I mean, let's not go through with the divorce. His voice wavered, desperation creeping in. I stared at him, completely devoid of emotion. Now he wanted to take it back? Now that his precious Emily wasn't so perfect after all? You are ridiculous, I muttered. Slow tears filled his eyes as he finally realized what he had done. But it was too late. I was past the point of caring. I'm done, Mike. I turned my back on him and walked out of the house that was no longer my home. Wait, please. His voice cracked, but I didn't stop. As I stepped outside, I could still hear the chaos behind me. Mike's pathetic pleas and Emily's enraged shouts. Let them destroy each other. It wasn't my concern anymore. Chapter 11. Karma Strikes Back. Time passed, and I later heard through mutual contacts that Emily had given birth. The twist? The baby had a mixed ethnicity. Despite all her adamant claims that Mike was the father, the truth had finally caught up to her. Turns out, Emily wasn't just a manipulative gold digger. She was also a liar who had been involved with multiple men, including foreign nationals. The baby's father was likely one of them. Mike, humiliated beyond belief, finally snapped. He kicked Emily out of the house, and with nowhere else to go, she was forced to move back in with her parents. Even more shocking, her parents, ashamed of their daughter's actions, sent me an official apology through a lawyer. They even compensated me for the trouble their daughter had caused. As for Mike, his downfall continued. The pressure and judgment from his colleagues became unbearable, and he eventually quit his job. After climbing the corporate ladder for years, he lost everything in an instant. Now, he struggles to find stable work and takes on part-time jobs just to afford the compensation he owes me. As for me, I'm finally at peace. I live happily with my children in our new home, free from the toxic past we left behind. Joshua, still furious over everything, often tells me he wants to confront Mike. But I always shake my head and tell him the same thing. He's not worth your time or stress. April, once broken and devastated, has healed. She's enjoying high school, making new friends, and slowly regaining her confidence. Looking at my children, I feel a sense of pride. They've been through so much, but they remain strong and kind. That's all I could ever ask for. And as for Mike, I no longer care. I just hope that my kids grow up to be decent human beings, something their father could never be. Please feel free to comment below if you like this. Remember to like and subscribe for more.